Before DreamWorks and Sony were weaponized against Disney throughout the 21st century, throughout the 80s and 90s there was one main rival, that being ex-Disney animator Don Bluth, who brought in some well-beloved classics and others that are just there. Now just to avoid confusion, feature-length releases only, so none of this, or even this. But wait, that would leave out just under a dozen movies. That's not nearly enough to do a 10 or less thing with them. If only there was something I could also review to fill up some lost space. Oh, I guess one of them had a sequel. I guess I can take a look at it. Okay, I guess there's a couple more of them. A little excessive, but... Please tell me that's everything. Wait a minute, that's how many Land Before Times? Yes, with every popular property, there's a studio wanting to make as much money off of it through the commissioning of low-budget follow-ups for better or for worse. And I was really looking forward to talking about Don Bluth's timeless classics, but I guess I'll be taking a look at the sequels too. So here's every Don Bluth film and sequel reviewed in 10 words or less. Remember when kids movies used to have balls? To the left! A better animated dinosaur adventure than Disney could have done. Twice. Someone's going all out on the transition effects. Jimmy Stewart as Wiley Burke honestly says it all. I take it back, Chanticleer as Elvis says it all. Did you ever hear about the aristocrats? I want to punch Stanley in the face. Repeatedly. Excellent. Rocco's Icy Life. So it's some kind of time of the great giving? Guess Satan has the same weakness as the science aliens. Will Littlefoot and Allie just kiss already? That playing the bad line really wouldn't fly in 2020. I'm having old friends for dinner. Does everything just have a Christmas Carol parody on standby? The only bad luck is watching these increasingly unnecessary sequels. Argyle is a national treasure. Bet you didn't think Don himself would have directed this spin-off. What do you mean Five for Going West was a dream? We're just so hip with the cool kids nowadays. So we're not gonna discuss the repercussions of child labor? Aliens. Why am I not surprised? What killed the dinosaurs? Definitely not the Ice Age. Free Moe. Long necks together strong. Littlefoot conquers racism. Everyone's looking after someone nowadays. Is Littlefoot supposed to be the smart one or what? Reaper really needs to fire her film agent. And that's everything, and thank goodness for that. But of course, I'm not done talking about him as I still got the top and bottom 3 to take care of.
It's not fair. She should have known better.
Thumbelina. So, remember in my non-Disney remakes that could work video when I said the Swan Princess was a slap in the face to Disney fans as a caricature of what people hate about Disney movies? The same applies here too, as it's just a bad version of their fairy tale musicals, with nothing special to carry it except for annoying characters, an art style that's trying too hard, and songs I just struggle to remember. Though it's pretty ironic that Mary the Mole is the one that won the Razzie, yet it might just be the best one.
I've never been so happy in my life. I have friends, lots of little tiny friends. Oh.
The Secret of Nim. Don's feature debut really set a tone on what his films would be compared to Disney. Be more dark and mature with the slightest hint of kid-friendly nature, as we follow Mrs. Brisby who goes on this grand adventure to save her family from destruction, come across the society of genetically enhanced rats along the way. The movie provides the right amount of maturity and peril without coming across as too cynical. The characters are all memorable and likable, and the world building is fascinating to explore. A rather solid start to an impactful career.
It's not fair. She should have known better.
Land Before Time 13, Wisdom of Friends. Yeah, these Land Before Time sequels had gotten a reputation of being nowhere as good as the original, but even the biggest fans of the franchise can agree this is the worst one. It does itself down even by Land Before Time sequel standards, especially when the main characters are made to be both dumber than ever, yet smart compared to these yellow bellies, two of which are voiced by Oscar winner Cuba Gooding Jr. and Emmy winner Xander O. What some people will do for a quick paycheck.
I've never been so happy in my life. I have friends, lots of little tiny friends. Oh.
Anastasia. We already talked about Don Bluth making a bad Disney wannabe, now we get to her making a good Disney wannabe. Sure, it's obvious what Fox Animation's trying to do, and sure it has as much historic significance as Disney's own Pocahontas, but who cares when you got some of the most beautiful animation in Don's catalog, great songs, standout performances from the likes of Meg Ryan and Christopher Lloyd, and actually interesting story about trying to connect to the past and set things right. Of all the blatant Disney knockoffs out there, it's safe to call this one of the very best Disney knockoffs.
It's not fair. She should have known better.
A Troll in Central Park. Imagine the worst of children's media, the kind that doesn't care about telling a good story and instead prioritizes flashy visuals and music for 75 minutes. That's this movie. Stanley is an insufferable twat who had witnessed the horrors of 9/11 and still felt the need to smile and laugh at people's faces. So like Squid from Smiling Friends, except without the charm or self-awareness. All he wants to do is to see the world be covered in flowers and green, but uh-oh, the big bad Norga hates flowers and wants everything to be all gray and stone. So with the help of two little kids Stanley befriends, he goes up against her and teaches her the greenery ways. And by that I mean we have to wait through 45 minutes of QC filler before Norga even appears in the story again. This is precisely what Brands from the first Trolls thinks all trolls are, these annoyingly happy trolls who smile and wave with no real thought or effort put into them whatsoever. At least Wisdom of Friends try to have a moral about the wisdoms, as horribly boss as that moral is. This is just if Cocomelon had a feature-length theatrical release. I was kidding!
I've never been so happy in my life. I have friends, lots of little tiny friends. Oh.
The original Land Before Time. Back before it was Universal's goldmine for inferior sequels, it was arguably the one that cemented Don Bluth as much of an animation legend as Disney. This movie serves both as a coming-of-age tale of Littlefoot as he and his friends grow to be more responsible at the time of necessity, and a tale about different characters coming together to find home regardless of their differences. With stunning animation and music, lovable characters, and a plethora of emotion, The Land Before Time arguably remains Don's masterpiece. Probably because Netflix won't make him make the Dragon Slayer movie he's promised to everyone.